Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about potted trees, specifically potted fruit trees. You know that I've been recommending Stark Brothers long before they ever reached out to partner with us. So today we're excited to bring you a video on potted fruit trees, what the planting process is like, what to look for when choosing potted fruit trees, the shipping process, all the good stuff. You may know that I love planting bare root trees in the spring, but the nice thing about potted fruit trees is that you can plant them really any time of year as long as you can dig into your ground. So Stark Brothers sent me some trees, which I am very excited to plant today, some kind of non-traditional trees. We're in zone 5, so I'm going to show you what it's like when you receive them in the mail. I'm always really impressed with their packaging. Obviously, if you're going to be shipping fruit trees, you want to make sure that they're taken very well care of, especially potted trees with leaves on them. So they're always going to send really detailed directions, which I really appreciate because a lot of times when people have failures with fruit trees, it's really just a lack of following the right direction. So having the clear instructions is very helpful. As you can see, these trees are leafed out. If you ever order bare root plants, you'll notice that they don't have these beautiful green leaves. Nice part about these potted trees when they're out of dormancy like this is they have these beautiful leaves. Judging a product's quality by the number of leaves or the look of leaves on the tree, that's really not the most accurate way to do it. So I'll talk a little bit more about how we can judge the quality of the product. One thing Stark Brothers does is make sure to package the base of the tree really well with plastic. This is going to help keep moisture in during shipping and obviously prevent spillage. So some of the trees I got some American persimmons. We're in zone 5. So the Asian persimmons aren't going to work for us. We got American persimmons. We got a couple pawpaw trees. We got an Asian pear. This one is going to be a pollinator for our Chijuro. I hope I'm saying that right. Chijuro pear. And then we also got a Rainier cherry tree, which was actually shipped a little bit later in a different package. So I will put all the varieties that we got here on the screen. Even though this is the first video where we're partnering with Stark, I have spent so many hours on their website, especially in the dead of winter, planning my orchard and deciding what trees to order next. There's lots of great information on their website, and it makes it really easy to choose tree varieties that are going to be compatible with your area. A lot of box stores and even some nurseries are notorious for selling trees that sound really exciting, but were never ever going to last in your zone. So the Stark Brothers website has really simple filtering capabilities so that folks can find what grows in their area, whether a pollinator is needed, what a good pollinator would be, all the information that will prevent failure and heartbreak, which is so important when spending years investing in a plant. I can also personally attest to their fantastic customer service team, which stands by a 1-year survival guarantee. Although I bought and paid for over a dozen plants from them myself, we did have one plant that didn't make it past its first winter. So I reached out to their customer service team and they made us whole right away. That experience really solidified a lot of future purchases that I ended up making from Stark Brothers myself in subsequent years. When we received these trees, it was ridiculously hot outside, so we actually waited a few days to plant them. It was in the upper 90s, even though it was September, so it was really important to us that they got a good start, so we waited to plant them until the weather cooled off a little bit. It was a little more mild. I just made sure to keep them watered, and I tried to keep them out of the sun as much as possible, just trying to keep stress to a minimum. That's the nice part about these potted fruit trees. You can always just wait to plant them until the weather lines up as much as possible. I had my lovely husband dig the holes, which is easily the hardest part. Now let's talk about this root system. Stark Brothers is well known for their easy start pots, and what these pots do is they help create a really healthy, strong root system in these trees that you're really not going to find in most, if any, big box stores. Rather than judging a tree by the number of leaves on it, how a lot of big box stores kind of dupe you into buying really poorly pruned and generally unhealthy trees, or trees with stunted growth because the root system is just totally tangled. These easy start pots really prevent the root system from becoming tangled and inhibiting tree growth. What this is going to do is it's going to allow that tree to become established a lot quicker, a lot more easily, and allow it to start spreading those roots out, which is where we want them to go, and become established in our soil. Another benefit to the easy start pots is they prevent the tree from becoming stressed, which is something that the bare root trees encounter when they are removed from the ground. Even though they are dormant, they do encounter some stress and some root breakage. So these easy start pots prevent the root breakage, even though we are going to score them ourselves, which I'll talk about in a second. These are especially useful if you're thinking about growing some varieties like pawpaws or persimmons or nut trees that are well known to be very difficult to transplant. So I was very grateful to not have to try and do that from bare root, which has a little bit of a more challenging success rate, especially for those kinds of varieties. Any of the trees that really don't like being transplanted, these are going to make the process a lot easier. This one is a meter American persimmon. So as you can see, I like to add a lot of water as I'm filling those holes. And we have to take another second to admire that beautiful root system. We are going to score the roots a little bit. This is part of the instructions, and it is just going to help them become established a little bit easier, help those roots start to move out instead of getting tangled where they are. Another nice thing about Stark Brothers is you know that the trees were planted properly in the pots. So a lot of big box stores are notorious for planting incorrectly into the pots. For example, they would plant too close or even above the graft, which is a huge no-no and could prevent a lot of progress on your trees in the future. The Stark Brother trees are potted professionally, and all you have to do is just line up the top of that potting soil to the top of your soil, and you're good to go. There's not a lot of guessing or digging down, trying to figure out if the tree was planted properly or not. Again, we're just doing a ton of water. And this is another controversial opinion, but I don't like to stake my fruit trees. I prefer to let them, as long as the weather is nothing crazy, just allow them to build up some resistance to that wind straight from the beginning. So we did plant a total of, I believe, 5 fruit trees. So I just repeated this process with each one. Since digging the hole itself is the hardest part, and my husband already did that for me, I'm just filling, adding water, scoring some roots with those easy start pots. And then after the tree is planted, we do make sure that if it's really hot or we're in kind of a drought right now, so we've been going out occasionally and just giving some more water to those new baby trees. Once they're established, that's not something we're really going to worry about though. There is so much time invested, literally years of waiting and care into fruit trees. So I really believe it's very important to do it correctly from the get-go. This year we actually dug up and are starting from scratch 3 apple trees that we got from a certain big box store because they were pruned so poorly. We just are starting over. As you can see, these apple trees that we got from Stark Brothers only about 2 years ago, I want to say, are absolutely beautiful and growing like crazy. Again, we got Stark Brothers trees years ago. They were the first trees we put in our orchard. And as you can see, they are doing fantastic after only a couple years. There's such a difference between these and the trees we got from big box stores locally. Really doesn't compare. So if you're thinking about planting fruit trees, which I absolutely recommend, you know what they say, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today. And with these Easy Start pots, you can plant almost year round, depending on your climate, of course. They work really well for any variety that Stark sells, but they work especially well for varieties like nut trees and persimmons and pawpaws, which we are so excited to be growing. It's very comforting to know that they're not going to have stunted growth because of a tangled root system, and we're going to be off to the best start that we possibly can be. If you have fruit trees, please leave a comment with your favorite varieties, or if you're going to plant some more coming up, please leave a comment with what you are excited to plant. I have such an addiction when it comes to planting trees, so I am always looking for more ideas. Thanks for watching today, and we'll see you next time.